Welcome to our podcast, Learn Biblical Greek, brought to you by Dr. William Stewart, the co-founder of Teleios. This captivating podcast teaches you biblical Greek through a verse-by-verse study of the book of Ephesians, interjecting Greek grammar, Greek word meanings, and vital theology concepts. Thanks for joining us on this exciting biblical journey. Your study will be more effective if you use the Greek text with the Bible word codes, either on the eSword download or Bible Hub website. These links are on our podcast website at www.teleiosresearch.com.
I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Teleios. Welcome back to our podcast on learning biblical Greek. I'm glad you're here, and I hope that you are learning. If you are, not more than me, as it's often said, the teacher learns more than the student. So it's a pleasure to learn with you. Let's go to verse 10 of chapter 5 of Ephesians. Open that Greek text. We're in a list of positive admonishments to the church. Paul's just finished saying, walk in the light, produce fruits of righteousness, and continues in verse 10, starting with a verb. So it's really a preposition. Prepositions before the primary verb will describe the population in which he's addressing. And it's usually in the nominative or the genitive. So dokimatzo, this is the verb meaning to prove or test. And generally, it can be a positive or a negative way. This, I think, is a positive with a prove. And the word comes from the Homeric times with in the military when soldiers were proven. They wanted somebody next to them who were, in a sense, dokimatsu, proven in battle to protect their backside, not to be surprised by an enemy. So we're to prove, and it's in the present tense. We know that from the root dokimats, that Z tells you it's the second type of verb defined by Muntz, which has the old disregarded consonant iota. They're in the present tense. It comes out. It'll come out in the other tenses and generally form a S. The O tells you this is the vowel connector. It tells you it is in the also the present tense typically. That NT tells you it's an active participle, and the ES will tell you it's a nominative plural masculine ending. So proving T. So this can be a question word. If the text has an accent mark, it should have an accent mark. They most typically don't. So it can be a question word or without the accent mark. Again, if the accent marks are there in your text, it could be some or certain one, any. And in this case, you have to determine by context. My text does not have the accent marks, so I think it's what. And then is, and it's actually in the neuter, and this is important, in two words. So is Eston. This is the ever-present third-person singular or plural for to be. And euphreston, this is an adjective, pleasing. It actually is modifying what, which is acting as a pronoun. So it's also in the neuter nominative singular, that O-N ending. T-O, short word, starts with a T, so you think of an oblique article. That omega tells you it's dative singular, masculine in this case, curio to the Lord, it matches, so curio would be a second declension. So we have proving what is pleasing to the Lord. What's pleasing to the Lord? Interesting, if you do a search, it's from Hebrews 13 and Hebrews 11. Faith, praise, fellowship, and good works, all from us. So I think the verse is telling us to do those things and prove them out as good, as these things that are pleasing to the Lord. Powerful verse. Verse 11, Kai. So it's continuing the thought from the prior verse, meaning and, me, used in negative commands. Su koronite. So the again, this is a verb, so we'll walk through it. Sug is our prefix, meaning with. There's no augment, epsilon. Kinoeo is fellowship, where we get the word fellowship. And then we have the ending. The connecting vowel will be an E, and this will attach to the E at the end of the root, giving us EE. But as you know, you don't have EE in Greek, so it contracts to EI. And the TE is the third person second person plural ending. So turns out it's command by context, do not fellowship. And then we have a short word starting with a T. So you think of an oblique article. That OIS ending tells you it's dative, plural, and it would be masculine or neuter. It matches the ergis, and of course this is a neuter noun, ergon, and so it tells you though it's second declension since it matches the TOIS, which is where we get the gender, and of course the noun gives you the declension. TOIS again. So again, the dative, masculine, plural, matching unfruitful. So carpos is fruitful. The A on the end is the negative. So it's the works, a fruitfulness. So again, that second article, which Western languages would not do, is there for emphasis, emphasizing the second word, the fruitfulness. TOU. This is, of course, genitive singular, masculine or neuter. In this case, it's a neuter noun. Scotus, O-U-S, it's a unusual ending. The dictionary forms ends in an O-S. In this case, some neuter nouns do end in an O-S. You add the O-S to the O in the root of the word, so you get O-O-S. Can't have an O-O in Greek, so it contracts to O-U. E-E goes to E-I, O-O goes to O-U. Don't ask me why. Please. Melon can mean more or rather. You have to determine it in context. It's an indeclinable common word. Rather, I think in this case, in context. Day is the important connector, which is post-positive, meaning but, or adding information in a separate thought. Kai, again, this is adding information with the same thought. Probably both are used together here for emphasis. It's unusual that they're used both together. Elenko, this is the word basically to reprove. It is in secular Greek, as Kittle, the great 10-volume word book of defining Greek words, it basically means everything that a teacher does to instruct. So on one end is the positive instruction, but on the other end is reproof or punishment. It's generally used in a negative way in Scripture. It's not used that much. It can mean convinced, but generally means reproof. Convict is used one time that way. So generally on the negative side of correcting somebody. The word here is the present, active, and imperative. So by position or by context, you can tell it's a command form. And you don't have an EI this time because the root for elenko ends in a X. So it's ending in a noun. So you just have that vowel connector for the E. Remember, for present tense, future, and second aorist, those vowel connectors are O or E, depending on the person and number. Okay, and do not fellowship. to those works of a fruitfulness of darkness, rather reprove them. Okay, so again, great verse, great admonishment for us for our lives. Thanks for joining me today. A lot to cover. Appreciate your persistence and patience. We'll do verse 12 next time. Please join me then.